Story begins in a land far away, in a land that in fact is the source of all candy, but is not called Candyland, as that is actually a point of contention amongst the people who live there, but is called Land of Candy. In our story is a little Lego candy cabin, with little Lego candy steps leading up to its door. Outside of the cabin is a little Lego candy garden, tended to daily with love and care. And out back is a Lego candy outhouse, also visited daily. They say the man who lives in this little Lego cabin, Lego candy cabin that is the source of all candy, and can answer any question regarding candy that you may have. But our story is not about him. In fact, our story is about the trees that reside in front of his property. For without these trees, we would not have any gumdrops today. But the story of the gumdrop is not as sweet as the gumdrop tastes. The gumdrop story is full of deceit and despair and discouragement, but also love and faithfulness and truth, and probably a bunch of other things. Let's get started. Our story begins after a long, dark winter in Land of Candy. As the sun of summer or spring slowly rose, creaking, as it often does in Land of Candy, it shed its light slowly across the land until it was day. As the day progressed, the trees slowly began to open, preparing to bear their fruit. The tree that the sun hit first opened first. The first tree was almost ready to bear its fruit. And there it was, the first gumdrop. The gumdrop grew and became the Gumdrop Man. He named himself Red and was the first Gumdrop Man. But just then, the second tree had ripened to the point of bearing its fruit. And the first fruit of the second tree dropped. And then the second Gumdrop Man was made. I say Gumdrop Man, but they really had no gender, as they were just gumdrops compiled into little life forms. The gumdrops found themselves drawn to each other, not like high schoolers, for this is a kid's story, but they just really wanted to hold hands. But just as they went to touch, boom! Another gumdrop appeared between them. They were aghast and stepped back in dismay. What could this mean? But then the gumdrop grew. And wouldn't you know it, it became a whole nother Gumdrop Man. They were all quite happy that they would be friends now. But then, just as they were all getting to know each other, the third tree ripened its fruit. And just like the other trees, it dropped its fruit. But yet again, it was another color, a third color. And it grew. It was new to this land, and the other gumdrop men wanted to say hi. But the yellow gumdrop was drawn to it, much like it was with the red one. And so they walked over to each other, more gracefully than the camera angle is doing. But again, just like with the yellow and red, boom! A gumdrop appeared between them just before they touched. And just like that, a fifth gumdrop came to be. All the gumdrop men were very excited. But then, the fourth tree began to bear its fruit. The last tree yet to bear its fruit, the one in which the spring sun shone on last. But what colors were left amongst the gumdrop men? What colors could this tree bear? What fruit could this last tree bear? All the gumdrop men gathered around, waiting. And then it happened. A white gumdrop. But what did it mean? Before they could answer this question, it started to grow. Sure enough, it was a white gumdrop man. None of the other gumdrop men were drawn to it, though. They didn't know what to do. So they were scared. They were scared of this mysterious gumdrop color that none of them were familiar with. So they all turned away from it, not wanting to be associated with the mysterious, unattractive gumdrop color. The white gumdrop man pleaded to be friends with him, but it just made them go tighter and tighter in a circle, trying to cut him off from being part of them. But then, just when they were getting really tight in their circle, and they all happened to get very close and almost bump into each other, boom, it happened. And a little gumdrop man, white, just like the one that they were trying to reject, showed up in their circle. And then they all kind of walked away a little bit, kind of thing. The story gets a little hazy right here, actually. But, just being that, actually, the moral of the story is actually kind of complicated. And generally, it's more, I don't even know. I remember now. The moral of this story is that as a gumdrop, no matter what color you are, even if you're white, especially if you're white, nope, that's not it either. The moral of this story is that things or trees, good stuff comes from trees. That's the moral of the story. Good things come from trees. The end.